And this is the Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast, episode 23, Conversations, Doozies and Don'tsies, or Do's and Don'ts. I'm here with my podcast co-host, life business partner, Avery.
Wow.
Avery?
Thanks for that incredible intro.
Well, business and life are one in one.
You're terrific. You're a doll. Really.
So
today's episode.
That was a conversation don't.
It was.
You just never introduce anyone as your life and business partner.
No.
That's why I went with that.
No.
But we're here. The NTS boys are back, and we're hosting Blair and Serena, two young daters who have a lot to say. They are fully loaded on the shidduch bullets, and they have a great conversation to discuss with us, what to say, what not to say, when can you say things, when shouldn't you say things. We've really touched up a lot on this in previous episodes, so we want to just call it out as it is, give ideas, and let you walk away with a better date. Wouldn't you say that, Avery?
Let's go with it.
Okay, so conversations, do's and don'ts, right? Obviously, there's so many things that you have to bring up when you're dating, when you're shidduch dating somebody. There's things you have to put on the resume itself. There are things you have to convey to the shadchan early. And then, of course, primarily and paramount to everything else is you have to tell this to the person who you're trying to get to know to be with them for the rest of their life, marriage. Right? Wrong spreadsheet here.
Well, personally, in terms of conversation pieces, I like to start out my dates pre-date. I go in with a mentality about what the conversation is going to be, how I'm going to structure that conversation. You know, you have to get a few things in your repertoire before you start the date. You want to know what type of girl is she, what does she want, but sometimes you don't want to know these things because it's important to figure it out as you go on so you can have like a real experience. I mean, is that something that you guys have experience with,
you ladies,
in terms of conversation?
Okay, I think going into a date with girls, it's just more go with the flow. You got to take direction from the guy. If he wants to talk about something, just go with it. I don't have any plans going into a date. I'm just more like make sure there's conversation, no awkward silences.
Right.
Yeah. Awkward silences are rough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you don't care what he says. You don't care what he asks you.
Yeah, I'll just play on that. Yeah.
You just answer it honestly and really get to know the guy.
Right.
Well, can an awkward moment of silence, is that a do or a don't? Like, can that be natural? Like, if that's how you are. I met really quiet girls, and I have quiet friends also, and they don't mind the silence. I'm very talkative, so I mean, can that work in a date?
I think so. It really depends, like, on the date. Like, it can totally not be awkward. I had awkward silences, and you just pick it up, and then it's fine. Like, you move on and start a different type of conversation. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, if it gets so long, I'll just be like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. Took me like 10 seconds to realize that.
Right. But how much?
Which
I mean,
IJ,
I know IJ likes to do a ton of research. This is his thing. He likes to know everything about the girl, what she does, like what her Instagram page is, or what her, who her life is, her life story. He likes to hear that before the date, before he goes in, so he knows what to talk about. Other people, like myself, I said before, I don't want to know anything because I want to have an honest reaction because I want to be surprised by what they tell me on the date. So I let someone else do the research, and then once they get there, obviously, if it's a terrible girl and she has an awful history, tell me about that. That's why I could say no. But
yeah, I do the same thing.
Right.
Just saying,
I don't want to know.
Yeah, I want to go into a date knowing that I'm going to be entertained and not bored because they're just going to repeat their resume to me.
Right. So what do you guys, Blair?
Do girls like that? Like, so girls, you don't want the guy to repeat the resume to you.
No.
Just try it. But that's based on a dynamic or even if there's a weak dynamic, right? Just go into a fun conversation, pick up on things. Don't just be like, oh, hi, yeah, my name's Avery. I have 16 siblings. And
the point of not reading the resume is that you could listen to that and not get bored.
Oh, that's true. So that's not bad. That is true. So sometimes like, so girls actually don't
I don't think you could say girls in general. I think we gotta.
People don't
Yeah.
like actually
No,
even
it's
look
not.
at the
It's
resume.
not a blanket. It's not a blanket statement. Some girls do. Some girls don't.
Oh, but there are people who do that. Like they don't read. They just don't read
Yeah,
the resume.
I don't read the
don't.
resume.
Wow, I'm shocked. And like you think so many people out there don't? Because I'm someone who, like Avery said, I mean, I ask for the girls, coronavirus tests, and I send it to ancestry.com. So that's what I do.
Listen, whatever makes you happy.
I actually wanted to just differentiate between conversation do's and don'ts, and then I think a big issue in the Jewish community, in the Orthodox Jewish, in just shidduch dating in general. And, I feel like a lot of times girls tend to stay neutral on topics because they think the guy will automatically judge them, for having a strong opinion or even actually just having an opinion, which I won't, Avery will. And, it is a shame, but judging them, and having that opinion, like it does happen. I mean, there is the fact that this will make you kind of like different and say, hey, this is who I am. This is what makes me me. These are my values and opinions. But at the same time, you don't want to just let things kind of blow up right away, right? So how does one differentiate between, feeling comfortable with talking about something that they might be passionate about, especially very apropos to what's going on in the world, let's just say, right?
Well, that's a fun question to answer, but the idea of going on a date is getting a conversation and learning about the person and learning their past, present, their values, their, to figure out if that actually matches up with your values. That's the idea. So if they have an opinion that's strong, let's say they're more conservative, they're more liberal, they have these strong opinions, not that we do or don't, but let's say they are, yeah, you want to get that out there and find out right away. That's the point. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for these things. Are they careful and considerate about, keeping kosher or going to, Minyan, going to learn? And that's what the point of the conversation is. You ask these questions to find out their certain, tendencies that they have, and hopefully they answer truthfully. Yet a lot of people don't.
So what would just be like your top two, Avery?
Yeah.
Of what not to bring up right away?
I don't like to talk about their family right away. I like that.
I like that
I don't
one.
like to talk about their family. I think, their family relationship.
Like, don't bring up these certain things, I guess right away.
Right, it's the same thing with like Aliyah. That's a value structure type of thing.
Well, that you have to know.
Find out
Right.
before you go out, though.
Sometimes
yeah.
not. I mean, honestly, I can
weird.
tell you, I've had that happen to me too many times.
Yeah.
But I think, IJ, with your specific situation, I mean, I don't know the details, but maybe it's just all about the delivery and how you say it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have delivery issues, to say the least. Right, Avery?
Yeah, that's why you couldn't be a nurse. There you go.
I still did not give up on my nurse dream, okay?
Okay.
There's still time. There's
Well,
I
time.
do
there is
still
time.
have my scrubs and drink Corona. You darn right I went into Starbucks and got the 5% discount. You girls are like, oh my God. These girls are like ready to jump.
And he
me.
put that on
me
the
or
resume.
him. I don't know which
And he
one.
I'm
put that
sure
on the
he
resume.
did.
Well, applying to nursing school is the new applying to law school, after all. I mean, girls love a guy in scrubs. I mean, it used to be guys love girls in the scrubs.
Well, something else that bothers me. I just thought of this right now. It just came up. Why do girls have to mention every time you go out with them? I do this much chesed. I am like
I
queen
don't mention
chesed.
that.
I never mentioned that ever.
Some girls have to like bring that up.
Well, maybe that's all they could bring to
and
the
that's
table.
what defines them. They think
Oof,
like this is
yeah.
their
right.
thing that will make you be more interested in them.
And Avery's like, nah. Chesed?
No, I don't know.
Not for me.
Well,
I'm not-
well,
yeah.
we'll tell the girls, like, guys, I don't think guys really care about that so
It's something
much.
that you're supposed to go home and tell your mother.
Yeah, it's such a
Right.
sell with Shad Khadim. Now, with that said, honestly, I would actually discourage bringing up chesed on the first few dates. Here's why. When I'm vetting a woman to marry, the last thing I want to hear is, I'm so busy running the entire Jewish world. You're
Mentions
last on my
less time
list.
to bother you.
I mean, that's really, and it's sad to say, and I mean this in a serene way, right? Because we have Blair and Serena here, serene way. But, calming and all that. But it does it does affect me. It does affect me. Like, and I don't know. I haven't really figured out. Is that the same with the girls? Because like on my resume, I'm president of Japan. It's a very impressive resume. No, right? I mean,
Sure. I don't think that girls think into that as much as you do.
Yeah.
you don't think they do? But like, if you got a
No.
guy's resume who there was no chesed on there, no kids of courage.
Like I don't read the
I don't
resumes.
look at
I
that.
don't know.
Yeah.
So how do you judge if it's not just from the
So
resume?
yeah. So what are you trying to feel from the resume then? So you just go out with everyone?
No, you call some references
Yeah.
like my mom does. And,
Yeah, I let my parents do the
Yeah.
initial research, and then
Oh, that's
and
nice.
if you hear good things,
Well,
Right.
people don't have parents to call on their behalf.
so then you call by
So
yourself.
what would
Be
you? What are
independent.
like the top 2 or 3 questions
Oh.
you'd ask?
I think it depends like
Does he
what
have a
your
cute smile?
priority is.
and what you
No.
know already about him.
Yeah, I'm saying like for me, like let's say learning is important. So I'm going to make sure my mom asks, does he learn have a chavrusa? Does he go to Minyan 3 times a day? What does he do on his free time? Like I don't want to date a guy that just watches TV after work for 7 hours. So it really depends on like what your priority is. And that's the questions like you're going to ask and find out. So it really varies with each person.
Mm-hmm.
I ask some of the same questions also, like Minyan, learning, rabbi,
Oh yeah, that's a good
or
one.
like, but also like his temperament and his personality.
Yeah.
Oh
No.
yeah, for sure.
Calm, cool, collected.
Yeah, like what is he like?
Does he own a gun?
Right.
That's big nowadays.
Yeah,
that's-
and
that's
medical
good.
conditions.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Maybe.
man,
It would
yeah.
be good.
But there's only
But
so.
that's nothing.
But either way, there's only so much you can grasp,
And then the
and
references
hence,
lie.
right? Like hence that leading into our topic, the conversations do and don't. So I think one of the more fun get-tos. And by the way, girls, I was like some really. I love what you said. Like. I like that. I wish a lot more girls can be like you and just be like, you know what? Forget what it says on the resume. Let me call up references. And you guys know, like, hello, episode, was that 3 or 5? I know 3 or
knows?
5. I'm like, I almost fell in love with the reference because I like to call references. They're your best friends in shidduch. I'm like, it's such a good thing to get to.
True.
So here's actually more of a fun conversation do and don't. Okay. So when the guy or the girl, literally second or third date, and they're like, I don't know how to tell you this because I really like you, but I listen to Goyishe music. Please don't stone me. Yo, that's a big one. No, Avery? You love that Goyishe music.
I don't care. I don't care what they listen to. Don't just listen to my podcast. That's
Is that
what
like an
matters.
end all for
That's-
girls?
That's all.
And not for us, I don't think.
Oh.
Goyish music.
No.
Do you think it's a warranted reason? So there's meaning warranted, like it's a valid reason for someone to like end things.
In the beginning, I think so. I mean, also if it's a value, like
Yeah, if it's their value.
like Serena said, if it's a value,
Right.
you're going to find out about it, and you're going to
Say no.
say no or say yes.
Well, like I was trying to say before, what you're trying to do is during this conversation, any conversation you have with somebody, you're trying to map them out. So you have their past, their present, their future. You have who they are, who they were, who they are, and where they're going. So Goyish music doesn't necessarily mean that they're not from, but if they grew up in a very from home and then they went to a very from seminary, then they said, you know what, I'm going to start listening to Goyish music. You know what, I'm going to start, wearing my skirt higher, or I'm going to take off my black hat. You kind of have a little picture of where they're going. So, when you're mapping someone out in a conversation, you could really get a good sense. I just try and listen on dates as much as I can because I really want to hear what they have to say. Because if you listen to someone, they're going to tell you what they feel. They're going to really explain what their feeling is about dating, about their conversations, about how they feel, especially certain things like Lashon Hara, how that comes up, certain things in the from community that, you're looking out for these pictures. Are they going to start telling stories of other people? Are they going to start gossiping on the date about other people? So in my conversations on dates, I just like to ask as many questions as possible because it lets them answer and bring out their true self. Yeah.
Question for you guys, totally
Go.
might be off
Go
topic,
ahead. Yeah,
but
no, go.
how important do you think it is that people are supposed to be on the same page about like secular media, like you say, Goyish music,
Secular media?
like music, movies, TV? Do you think that
Oh,
both
yeah.
of them have
Yeah, you
to?
wanna take
both
this
of them
one, Ajay?
can't?
I think it definitely age has a big factor in that. And why? Because it's very different when you're in yeshiva for a guy or you're a girl and you're, you're involved in a lot of chesed and opportunities and programs, and in college. So you're very anchored, you're very anchored, and you have a lot of free time and available time to get involved and keep busy and really enjoy the best parts of life, some of the best time of your life.
Mm-hmm.
But when you graduate college and you're kissing all your friends goodbye at graduation, or Corona, carpool, whatever, Corona drive-by graduation,
mm-hmm.
it's over. Like, you're going to a place to work, or you're going to graduate school, and you have a very strict, rigorous schedule. Okay, so now, I didn't forget your question. So to drive that in is, you're now like busy 10, 14 hours a day, and you're just coming home and you're just exhausted, and you're like, I need to relax. I need to clear my mind. And if you were raised with Goyish music, if you were exposed in camp, it's going to affect you at that point, because you're in a very different mindset in life. Think about it. 20 years you're going to school. You're having the same schedule, same friends, same people. All right, a little mix up here and there. Elementary school, or grammar school, as our British friends say. High school, college, right? But then you're getting to work. That's it. It's all different. So it is definitely based on kind of where you are in life. My personal opinion, no, it shouldn't matter at all. Like, again, I think what you said, Blair, like, your values are very important, but where do you want to, like last time, Alex and Sophia had brought up, where do you want to be in 5 or 10 years? Personally for myself, 5-10 years, like, I don't want to listen to as much Goyish music. Like, I see it's not, I rather do other things, I rather spend that time differently.
Yeah, I'll answer that question too. It's all about literally actions, time, balance. So you have time, you have to balance things that are important to you. If you want to make time for learning, and he does, and he says he does make time, okay, find out what he does in other things. Ask him about Netflix shows that he might be watching, and they'd be like, when you're watching this show, you're watching every season of Game of Thrones, back and forth. Every line. Are you sure you really have time for Gemara and Daf Yomi like you say you do? Are you really sure you're going to Minyan? There's qualifiers that you could find out from these guys, and they'll tell it to you. They'll tell you everything. You just have to really learn how to listen. It's so important.
I agree.
In my opinion. And after this, we'll get back to some more crucial conversation pieces after this short break.
Extremely crucial.
Hey listeners, it's Misty from the Nobody Talk to Duchen podcast, and I understand that between work, school, and your shidduch responsibilities, it can be really difficult to find time to read. Well, now, thanks to Audible, you can listen to your favorite books and authors anywhere at any time. I love that I've been able to catch up on the latest audiobooks with Audible, including some audiobooks by my favorite authors, John Grisham, Colleen Hoover, and Rachel Hollis. Whether I'm in my car, at the gym, shopping for groceries, or even during bad dates, I love how convenient Audible is. Here's how you sign up for the Audible. Just click on the link in our show notes, and you get a free 30-day trial along with 3 free audiobooks. Remember, the average person reads 12 books a year, so don't be average.
Okay, so guys, big question here. When do you know it's the right time to talk about your past dates, good experiences, bad experiences, maybe just something funny to lighten up the mood? When do you think it's okay to do that?
When do the girls think?
Yeah.
So I think for sure, like the funny dates, definitely like your first date, because it's like a total icebreaker. And it just brings a common ground, and like you feel comfortable talking about it.
Yeah,
you have so
like
much.
You have
to
like
say.
a competition of who's
exactly
had the
like
worst
who had the
dates.
craziest
Yeah,
dates.
yeah. I think I always win though.
Ooh.
What do you mean by that?
We're gonna have to hear some of those stories for the podcast.
You gotta share.
One story
Elaborate.
I'm not going to share, but you know what? I'll let Serena take it because I've heard her stories and she's good.
Okay, so my first story is, it was literally on the first date, probably like 45 minutes in, and he wouldn't stop talking to me about how he wants 20 kids, and literally 20 kids, no less, no more, and he hopes he likes them because he doesn't know if he likes kids yet.
So I'm just wondering how
What
he
a
got to
jovial
that
mood.
number.
Mm.
Yeah.
Doesn't that put you in a jovial mood? Like,
20 kids?
Yeah.
No, it gives me crazy anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to take a Xanax or something.
So what did you say though? What was your response?
I was like, well, I don't want 20 kids.
Okay, at least you told him. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's
Yeah.
good for you, Serena. No,
Yeah.
you got
Oh,
it.
100%.
The most the guy told me was 12. So
What date was it? What
First
they brought up
date.
the first
Also my
date?
first
Also
date.
first date that they brought
Yeah.
up how many kids they
he said
want.
12
Okay, that's
kids,
a
and I'm like,
that's
Yeah.
a conversation. Do not bring up
yeah.
how many kids you want
Yeah.
on
And
whatever
even if
date.
you do
First
want
of
20
all,
kids, I don't think you should share that with her.
No,
ever.
you don't. And he was like bashing my sister only has 2 kids.
Oh my
What?
God! What a
Only
what
2
a jerk.
kids
It's really
at
crossing the line.
27. Why doesn't she have more? I was like, you're just crazy.
That kid really needs to go
yeah.
get out of his house.
that guy's
get out of
nuts.
his parents'
I
basement.
mean, oh, is he married now?
No, I don't want to say thank God.
Yeah, right. Okay.
but it was pretty recent.
Wow. Yeah, that's something I'd never bring up. Like how many kids you want, you know?
Yeah, no.
And how many kids I don't want.
You don't want to put someone
20 is on the
20.
list. Yeah, that's up there.
Yeah, kids itself is a very it's a tough topic to bring up right away.
Raising kids is something else you can
unless
bring
you're
up.
very passionate
Yeah,
about it.
that's
Unless you know,
deeper in
unless
the
you are.
deep
But
stuff.
Right.
I wouldn't make someone feel qualm because I disagree with them on how many children you'd want. Like that is
it
just a
got so
wrong thing to
awkward.
do.
So not,
No.
So that's
not
a conversation.
topic of
Do
conversation.
not.
Also, don't
Yeah.
criticize somebody else's ideals.
Oh,
like
no.
what, they say they grew up and went to, left-wing camps. They went to M camps or whatever camps it was. And you're
Or
like,
the L camp.
wow, you're not from. Wow, you're, rebellious or whatever. You just think, don't criticize them on a date. They come up in different backgrounds. They everyone has their own background and whatever strange amalgam of schools and languages they speak. It's like that kid in camp who was that weird kid. Guy, am I right? Like that kid in camp who was a weird kid who came in with like the Star
me?
Wars
What the heck?
lunchbox.
I was I was weird.
No, I'm joking. He's a good
Which
guy.
camp?
Dude, I was
But-
color war general twice.
I'm not
And
talking about
twice
you,
with
But did you
But-
guys win?
but
We won.
Oh, good.
But there's that kid in camp who always comes in and he's dressed up like a strange kid and he's playing his Game Boy while everyone else is at leagues and playing basketball and hanging out, and everyone's just like looking at him like, what's wrong with this kid? And they're making fun of him. Everybody has a parent. Everybody has some way they were brought up. We're all brought up differently, so you have to give the benefit of the doubt
Be nice.
to them.
Yeah, so kid, when
That's
would
the
you
values.
say ladies? Because I feel like kids kind of rolls into the I think you're beautiful or want to start making remarks towards their looks. Like, so would you put those together?
No.
I don't think I would.
You wouldn't.
No. I think, well, kids,
What would come first?
if you're talking seriously, then kids having like the amount of
Kids is-
children or
yeah.
how to raising,
It's
how
a
to
very
raise them.
serious conversation.
Yeah, but like compliments on people's looks.
Mm.
that could come before.
Yeah. If
Definitely.
Okay.
if you do it right.
Yeah, not creepy.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Yeah.
I got a good
Hey, you
time.
look really.
Telling somebody they look pretty, I think could be done.
Yeah.
If
Not
just-
right away. Not
Well,
right
Is-
away.
not,
well,
yeah, if you do it
not
in
on
a
the first
smooth
date.
way. Well,
Yeah.
in the,
Right, okay.
I went on a first date and,
Yeah.
we were people watching because that's like one of my favorite things
I love
to do.
people watching.
And we were just like commenting on people's appearance. And I was like, oh, that girl's so pretty. And he's like, nah, you're much prettier than she is. And I'm like, okay,
Wow.
that is
I like
how
that
you
delivery.
compliment
That's
a
a
girl.
smooth-
So my
Yeah,
move is we go to like the
absolutely.
city, we go to La Marais, we walk out and we see a homeless man. I'm like, come on, you're comparing me to this guy, huh? Who's better?
Well, yeah.
I like that. Can you
That's
send me
some-
her resume? That's the kind of girl I could click with.
Yeah.
Also, I think that, the guy should
I think
be
the homeless guy got
complimenting
married,
girl
by the way,
first.
too.
Oh, yeah?
I wouldn't promulgate
shut
it
up.
like constantly. Oh, you're hot. You're hot. You're beautiful. You're. I would. Yeah.
It's like a little overbearing.
Yeah, that's like
for sure.
excessive.
Because then then
Very
it just
strange.
loses its value. The word.
Yeah.
it would
Right.
definitely. So there's a time and place.
It'll turn into like a season of The Bachelor.
Yeah. My craziest.
That's
I'd
what
one-
watch that show.
I love that show.
Hey.
Yeah, he does.
Tomorrow night they're doing Caitlin Bristow's
I know,
season.
but I can't
I love
rewatch
her.
that.
I mean, yeah, I like when they do Bachelor because I really get along with the guys. I'm like, that one's my bro. That one's my bro. That one
I also
saw
like
the,
it when all the guys are there.
Yeah,
I
I,
love
only
the
like
dudes,
I only like
you
the
know?
guys.
I mean, it's too much when they're in their bathing suits all day. But
So that's the parts that we watch.
Right.
whoa,
That's the best part.
I'm getting to know you two really well.
With the
I cannot understand.
Avery
why
has a
people watch
pool.
that
I'm
show.
just letting you know. Okay, moving on. Okay, so
do
actually,
not
this is one
understand
thing. This is one thing we. So like complimenting. Okay,
Right.
that's
Okay.
Yeah.
But
And-
I want to say something.
Okay,
I want
yeah.
to make a difference
Yeah.
about complimenting their outsides versus their insides.
good. Ooh, that's yeah. There's a difference.
Yeah. Like I think it's great when people are able to just appreciate the other person and tell them that, like, I think your outlook on this is great. I think your value on this is, like, I think that's how you foster, like, emotional vulnerability and trust is when you open up and you tell them, I like when you're saying this. I like how you feel about this. And I feel like that's so much, it shows so much more value than saying, oh, I think you're pretty. Like, and I think that's okay to say it even in the beginning, on the first day, on the second date, when he expresses a value or a view on something. I think it's great when a girl's like, wow, I appreciate that. You know?
How would you comment on it? Like, if he does express some sort of feeling or something like that, how would you comment to him?
I would say the same. I would say,
like, oh, that's
wow.
cool.
Yeah, cool. Or what, like, wow, I really appreciate that outlook. Or like, that's so great.
Right. And what if they have no feelings?
That's
like
fine.
in my case.
That's fine.
I
don't have feelings on a lot of
Right.
things, so I think it's great.
If I was giving that to a girl, I meant it.
Or
I
just
would
say
feel
thank
sad.
you.
Thank you, simple thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I
But
want a
also
little bit more than a
thank you,
thank
like,
you.
you
I
have
was
to
like,
learn
Say
how to.
thank you.
Yeah, you have to learn how to accept compliments.
Yeah,
and
even
not
if
have to
you're not
reciprocate.
there.
do you think girls have an issue with that?
Accepting compliments?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
You think
Ooh.
so?
Yeah. I mean,
And
I don't think
I
so.
think so.
well, I would actually agree with you because, like, take some girls that I've dated who like grew up in a house with all guys. They're never used to ever being called, you know, you're so beautiful, or they're like in a house with guys. You know, this is a boy's house. Avery, you know what I'm talking about. I think accepting compliments definitely takes some time for sure. I was actually speaking to a dating coach once. And I was never in the mood. It wasn't in my mindset to accept compliments because I'm the oldest in my family and I have younger siblings, and I'm just used to carrying the burden. At least that's how the dating
Your
coach
back
put it.
must hurt.
It does. It always hurts. Yeah.
Well, some
Chiropractor.
people don't just accept compliments, but they like lie to make it feel like that person feels good or to express that they are more superior to them in some way. And this is a problem I've seen a lot on resumes before and on the dates themselves. People will tell like these lies, and they're they
if it's not
just
genuine, you want to feel
change
it out.
or exaggerate about who they are and what they've done, and try and make themselves look a little bit better to you. It's a really big problem, I think. You know, about that goes on in the Jewish world and
It's like a
in the
whole
world in
nother
general.
episode.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
but
Blair got
don't
you
lie
there.
on your date. Don't
No.
that's something that really
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm against
bothers
lying.
me when
Agreed,
they
agreed.
exaggerate about certain.
But
things.
I think we can
many
all,
friends I
yeah.
have.
I didn't even plan on that being a major topic, that like people can't accept compliment, but you're so right now talking about it. People can't. So I'm telling all our listeners out there, like, if someone gives you a compliment, take it. Say thank you. Bring up, like, thank them. Just make sure that they're aware.
Also, like, be
don't have to
proud of
thank
who
them.
you are. But you should.
You don't have to
should.
thank them.
I
There's
think
no
that
reason-
speaks more in volume.
Well,
There's no reason
what
to give
other
compliments
response
unless you're
would you
engaged or
give
married.
them?
I mean,
Avery,
you're
you're
just
Avery,
dating
you're so
somebody on a
happy.
first or second or third date. What are you complimenting?
Avery
You
would
have
represent
zero
the
relationship
people out
with
there
them.
who don't want the compliment.
What's the harm in giving somebody a compliment?
I'm giving over a
You're
piece
just
of myself.
trying to get benefits, but
Yeah,
you
I'm
really
giving
have
over
to be nice to the other person.
No, because I want to give it when it's honest, when you feel like you could. If you
Oh,
don't
I'm not
feel like
saying-
you could,
oh, no,
if
no,
you're
no,
feeling
yeah,
like
yeah.
you're giving it off because of giving a compliment,
No,
that,
don't try to like kiss
hey,
up to them.
yeah,
No, no.
your mother's so sweet. Your mother is so incredible, and I met her for 2 seconds though, and I'm gonna give you these compliments that are totally fake and exexaggerated. What's the point?
Okay, so let me
When
clarify.
it comes
That's
out
not what I'm talking
real,
about. Right,
that's
when
a
I'm
good
talking about real
compliment.
ones.
But I don't think it should be about stuff.
Family issues, or personal issues like medical issues. So family issues, hashkafic issues, those are probably the top 3, what to bring up and when. So there's some of those that you got to bring up in the beginning. Some of those topics you have to get to right away and say, you know, Shadchan, I want you to know Shadchanit. I want you to know that, you know, I have this medical issue. Whatever it is, mental health, physical health, whatever it may be, here's that information for you. I think if it's so out of your control, here's my answer for that one. I think if it is such a serious topic, give it over to the shadchan, speak to your Rav, and just let them tell you when you should bring it up. Obviously, they're going to direct you to a time and place where you feel very comfortable with that person, talking to them about things. I mean, it's a question that you could get very content and complacent with. Who wants to handle it? When
That
do you
comes
bring
up
it up?
before. That comes up in references. These are not things that
No,
come
I
up.
know
Sometimes
plenty of
it
people
comes,
They come up in
like on the
references.
seventh
This guy over
date
here
when
with
they're
the
so
row,
into you, and
If-
it's like, oh, I take this, whatever.
I've
and
never heard that
I
before.
have schizophrenia.
I've never heard
yeah,
that before.
I've heard of it
Oh,
before.
really? Wow.
I've heard.
And you heard of that?
Yeah.
What did they do in that situation?
Sometimes they break up
broke up.
because of it,
Yeah.
or they can work through it.
Do you think it's a valid reason to break up?
100%.
Yeah, I think so.
It would be nice if they brought
this,
this.
especially if it's hereditary,
First of all,
and
trust, and
the kids
also
can get it.
hereditary.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like it really depends on what is wrong. What's wrong with them?
Yeah.
Like what they're taking.
Because I for sure, I'm usually on. I mean, I'm usually on the side of peace. Some people just can't handle that. It's not, it is a lot for them to handle. Like they've gone through enough in life that now just dropping this, let's call it the M bomb, the medical bomb. I'm on antidepressants. I have schizophrenia, bipolar.
Bipolar is very common.
Yeah. Especially in the Jewish community.
Exactly.
It's very
So many
prevalent.
people are
very
on it.
extremely prevalent.
And it's hereditary.
Well, the more concerning thing is that they concealed it from you.
yeah,
in middle of
bipolar.
dating.
I have
Trust, once
stories.
it's
That's
gone.
just as bad.
Concealed. Yeah.
So how do you prevent that trust from breaking? Let them know right
Say
away.
the truth in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Right away, right?
Yeah.
But also, I think it depends on how serious the situation is.
Well, it's these things are serious regardless if it's hereditary. Like technically bipolar, you just
Right.
take a pill and you're fine. It's not necessarily like, in and out of the hospital.
Technically, but once
Technically,
there's
yeah.
some
Yeah. It
mental
can
issue,
be.
it can come
Yeah.
back up and it'll always be there, and then it goes.
Yeah.
It's not something that you take lightly,
No.
but there are also undiagnosed mental issues that come up on dates
Yeah.
That's
that you find out from people.
Exactly.
I've had a few girls who I can consider probably had some. I mean, there was some sort of, maybe not to a crazy degree OCD sort of things, but I told them to go see a therapist. No, I'm joking.
I don't think they listen.
I wouldn't do that. They did not. They wouldn't just see a therapist.
I mean, just to give some levity to the situation, Avery, just because they have high fructose corn syrup does not mean they have some mental
Syrup.
health issues.
Syrup.
All
There
right.
are
No, I'm
other
laughing at that.
issues that come up, though.
He's very strict with that. I really like what you said, Serena. Yeah, it could really be a maker. It could be
Deal
a break.
breaker.
It is a break.
Mhm.
But the trust factor is obviously weighs more.
Yeah. It's like, what else are you hiding from me?
You can never get that trust back.
No. And it'll take a while.
Do you feel like it's the same way though with guys, especially guys, because this is just an exclusive guys situation with Minyan? That means going to shul for our Modax people.
I'm saying, well, I've dated plenty of guys who on the resumes, they go to Minyan 3 times a day. They have a steady chavrusa.
We do.
Mm.
And we learn together too, Avrina.
That is not true. That's trust issues number 1. Red flag.
Hello,
Hi, Jay.
No, and then, on first 3 dates, I always ask them right away, like, do you go to Minyan? Do you learn? Because it's important. And they're like, yeah, of course. Like 9 a.m., I'm there, everything.
Mhm.
6th, 7th date. So I don't really have a chavrusa, and like Minyan, I sleep till 12 and whatever.
Mm.
And I'm just like, then like you lied to me. I don't understand. And it's hard. It's like, what do you do now? And they're
Mhm.
like, I'm working on it. It's a very big struggle for me.
Mhm.
And I think it also bothers me a bit because they mentioned they want like the perfect girl, like tznius and careful what they watch and careful what they listen to. But then they're barely waking up for Minyan and barely learning.
Right. Well, we could
So
break
it's like
that down
double
into 2
standard.
different sides. There's a part of them that wants that's their ideal. They want
For sure,
that to
but
happen.
don't lie about it.
Seems to me like they're
That's
struggling
right.
with
They're-
honesty.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can
as well as
struggle.
There is
you
a
can
struggle.
be open and say like, you know what, I actually struggle with this, but I really want to get there.
Yeah.
That you can respect and like actually continue dating the person.
Mhm.
Once you lie,
Oh, I mean,
like it shows who you are as a person. Like, why do I want to date a liar?
yeah,
Like,
we had a guest on recently who, it's not, I wouldn't call it lying. It's called wanting to become better
yeah.
in some way. It would be, if they never do it and they actually say they do it, yeah, fine. If they say they'd like to do it, there's a difference, and it's a minute difference. And I think people
No,
have
I
to
get
realize
what
they
you're
can pick
saying,
up on
yeah.
that.
I think it's actually like I have more respect for somebody
Mhm.
and they're
Yeah.
just honest and saying, I want to do it like this,
But I'm not there
here,
yet.
but I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Right.
I respect that so much more from a guy.
I mean, you could take their actions though, and you have to really judge it based on how they act and put it all into one little cholent pot and then mix it up into the guy, and that's who you're going out with. You know, there's a lot of different components to each person that we don't realize, and it's the same with girls that we don't realize that come up. You know, I don't know. I can't think of somebody that I went out with. There was someone recently that I went out with who said that she would not want to have a TV in her house, but every single thing she talked about was movies and TV shows and how much she loves it. And I'm like, is that okay? Maybe you ideally don't want to have a TV in your house, and you say you don't. You know, this is how you act, and this is what you do, and you watch TV all day. How does that fit into the balance of what she does? So it was concerning.
Girls can do it too in different ways.
Yeah,
it is a paradox in shidduch.
Girls,
shidduchim.
Girls, I don't know if they lie more, but
I think guys have and definitely,
probably not.
Definitely well said. It's
guys lie more.
Wow,
guys
okay.
lie. I would not disagree, and I think the big issue with the guys having to lie more is just simply because going through yeshiva with just guys, and now all of a sudden, you're with the ladies, and you want to impress. And you want to make a really nice impression on them.
Yeah, it's also pressure, I feel like.
It's right, exactly that. And that's coming from pressure.
Yeah.
To have your life figured out, have everything together. And I like the hippie, I call it the hippie movement. It's back. Self-care, into feelings, let's trust each other, peace and love, podcasting, morning toast, morning brunch, things like that. And I think it's opening up and helping young guys today, because girls have nailed it. Girls are great. Girls, very little to work on, in my opinion. But for the guys,
agreed.
Like, they don't have this script or this structure. Because honestly, overwhelming percentage of parents in the Jewish community today whose people aren't shidduchim, they did not go to Minyan. Like when they started working, like there was one minyan in the old Young Israel down the block, 4:30 a.m. All the butchers went, all the rabbis from MTA went. That was it. Some of them do, of course. I'm not saying not everyone, but it's not exclusive. But so we're really creating this new normalcy.
Yeah.
I also think that, with girls, hate to say it, what you see is what you get sometimes, like with their tznius. So if that's like a main value that people are looking for, you can't really hide it so much.
Yeah, girls, you can't hide tznius. It's literally what they wear.
Yeah.
And there's also the concept that guys have everyone has a lot of potential in life. You all have your potential, and that's what you're going for. But there's guys that a lot of times you'll see this even in shul. They change. They go to shul. They go to a different minyan. They meet a new rebbe. They go to Israel for a month. And then they have this, epiphany type of thing. And their values change a little bit more. And you start to see their character builds to what they want to become. And it happens quickly. Girls, for the most part, stay on that middle, tier, whatever good, balance they're on. I've seen it a lot of times with the guys. They just all of a sudden one day come back and from wherever they are, and they have a long beard and a reckle and they're wearing
Hey, that was me at 18 and a half.
Yeah, a couple years ago. With the orange hair.
I had payas coming down.
The orange highlights in his hair.
And then it's funny, because actually after Shana Aleph, I came back drunk from Purim, totally out of it, and we tried dyeing my hair bleach blonde, but we forgot to put the bleach in, so it came out orange. Then coming back so I came back, and all the rabbis were like, "Oh, what a failure!
Yep,
He's gonna go to college and just it's over." But then I came back on a bet with the payas, and it was great. And I don't know where we are now.
What happened to that? What happened to that?
I have a lightning round.
And
I
scruff.
wanted. And scruff. Oh yeah, I have scruff. Yeah. Well, actually, I just forgot.
Scruff is key.
Scruff. Oh yeah, girls like to scruff.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I don't like it when guys shave for dates.
No, clean shaven.
Oh yeah, such a yeshivish move. Such a yeshivish move. No.
Interesting.
It's too. Yeah.
Too cliche.
Here, let me do a little lightning round for the last few topics we have, because we're getting to our closing soon. Conversation, do or don't. Okay, finances.
Do.
Don't.
Ooh, I like
Why?
that. Don't.
Yeah,
Not
why?
finances, like how much you make, but I think their outlook on their
At
views.
some point.
Yes.
Like
Favorite
their
you
lifestyle.
It's a little bit okay. Let's
Ooh,
get
that's
detailed on there.
important.
Well, that's
How
a
do you
different
spend? How much do you shop? Where do you shop?
Not
I don't ask the guy.
No. This is for girls.
Lululemon.
Yeah. How many?
all the way?
Bergdorf Goodman.
Right. Right.
Yeah, just
Wow.
like, do you like
I don't
saving
know.
money?
I don't know. Girls from your area know what Bergdorf Goodman is. Whoa.
Serena's very familiar.
How frequent are you on Fifth Avenue? Like, these are things we have to know. And so we just got
every other week.
guys just have to know it so they can budget in their mind. Like this.
How much
it
is
is
this
good to
wife
have
gonna
how
cost
much.
me?
It is good.
Yeah.
It is good to have like that foray over it. Yeah. Think through fruition things. Okay, well, this is what I'll need. This is what I won't need.
Yeah.
Okay, like that was a cute one. Okay, so
Next.
let's then the next one. Next on our lightning round, Lashon Hara.
I don't speak Lashon Hara.
I never speak Lashon Hara.
I only speak Lashon Hara.
Only about people you don't like. Then it's
That's
okay.
true.
But if it's about people like, you gotta kind of you gotta.
No, it's
listen to
only
Lashon Hara.
say if it's good juicy gossip, you could say it. So a Rav once told me that.
Listen, if a Rav
Here
says
for
it, got a heter? Oh, there.
MS. No, I'm joking around.
I hate the rabbi and I hate the shotgun.
I don't hate people. Hate's a strong word.
Okay, hate is a strong word. I have a problem with the shotgun and I have a problem with the rabbi.
Does this overlap into Lashon Hara?
Yeah.
Because it might be warranted. Lashon Hara is
Yeah.
not warranted.
Good question.
There's no reasoning to do Lashon Hara. No.
I think it depends on the context.
Yeah, and
like
also-
if someone had a bad experience with a rabbi,
So there you go.
like,
So
but I
it's
think it's
right.
gonna
but
bring
you
the
can't
mood of the
judge.
date
Like you
down.
can't say
Right.
all rabbis. Like you can't say you hate all rabbis. Like maybe a rabbi said the wrong thing to you and you took it the wrong way. Miscommunication.
Yeah.
You have to be careful.
No, that's good. I like
Yeah.
that thought
Like,
process.
Stay far away from speaking badly about people. Even
Yeah, and
it's
if a guy
warranted.
says that like on a first date, like he hates a rabbi,
flag.
I would run. First of all, you need a rabbi. Like you need a rebbe. So if he's saying he hates rabbis,
Yeah.
then where is he getting his advice from? When he has questions.
Yeah, I daven in this guy's
Yes.
shul and I can't
Yeah,
stand
yeah.
it.
He holds
Yeah,
by the
they're hating on the
halachas
shuls
of
and the
Emperor
community.
Palpatine.
I am the shul board. Okay, I like
Oh,
that.
let's
Good.
not
Yeah.
go
So
there.
Avery, yeah,
not go
can you hate on the rabbi or the?
You can point out things that you dislike about their
maybe like
halacha, inconsistencies and their mahalach. Let's say I'm not going to say this for myself, but an
Hasaga.
example of people who go by a certain Rav in the Washington Heights or who go by a certain Rav in Brooklyn, and you could point out the differences in why you go according to that one Rav. I think that's important.
I think
actually,
the guys won that round.
No.
Oh. Girls always win.
All right, no, you're right. Ladies always win. Okay, last two. Actually, no, we'll just. Oh no, this will be the last one. Rule breaking and law breaking. Conversation, do or don't.
Is it a funny story?
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah,
It's
what
a
does that
funny
mean?
story.
I don't know. It could be.
What does that mean? Somebody unintentionally told me that she cheated on like all of her tests in high school and her college
oh,
tests,
that's a big one.
and I'm like, her character just
Integrity.
dropped
Yeah.
by like
Yeah.
10 integrity points.
Never give up your
Literally.
What
integrity.
date did you say that on?
5th, 6th date.
Was there an awkward silence that you had
Yeah.
to fill?
No, I was just like, oh, that's interesting. You know, I just put that in my little black book right next to me in the
Never
car,
seen
and I
you
just wrote it
again.
down, and it ended. She just married Bernie Madoff's son. Can you believe it? No, I'm joking.
Great shidduch, mazel tov.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna get to our ending, our closing in just a moment.
All right. So for our closing, I just want to end with my final thoughts on dating conversations, do's and don'ts. And I really think that the most important thing that we should all take away from this episode, and I know I will, is that you need to head into the date with a plan about what you're going to ask about what is important to you, and how you're going to get that out of the girl. And when you're doing that, you have to be honest. You have to be honest with yourself, be honest with them, tell them how you feel, tell them your political views, tell them everything that you need to get out there, that you feel you need to get out there, because it'll get out there eventually. And don't lie about it, because that just skews your entire view of the world and will actually hurt your trust between the person that you're going out with and yourself. So just say what you need to say. And if you think you're going to sound stupid, it's fine, you know, and listen. Listening is the most important part of any conversation. So remember to always listen.
Okay.
Serena?
Oh, Blair.
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 will go.
Okay.
I
Blair
agree
Witch
with you,
Project.
but this is more directed towards the girls. When there's a guy like Avery on a date where he's, putting himself all out there, I really don't think girls should be afraid to express their opinion. even if it's the opposite, that's how you get conversations going. And that's how, let's say something you say is a deal breaker to the guy, you want to get that over with right away. First date, if it's a no-go, like that's great.
Right.
If it's really something, if it's a fundamental issue that should be addressed, let it be addressed right in the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like you don't want to waste time. So it's so important just to get everything out there at the perfect moment. Like you shouldn't obviously just spill out your entire life on the first date, but you just need to be so honest so you're not wasting anyone's time, and the date will progress
especially if the guy's opening
a
conversation about that. That means he wants to hear what you have to say. Don't be afraid.
Agreed.
Excellent.
And what about my closing?
From that.
Oh, what about my closing?
IJ's closing. Wait, got to reopen the garage door over there. All right, opening.
And here is
IJ's opening for his closing right there.
Okay, no.
Go.
There is a plethora of things to get to when you are having conversations in shidduchim. Most of the time, you're going to feel like you're an anomaly. You deviate from the crowd. You deviate from what is the status quo, the standard, the conventional route of doing things. It's important to set yourself up to garner the proper aptitude to handle those situations of what to bring up and what not to bring up and when to bring it up. You need to train yourself. It's like going to a gym, running a marathon. You can't just, wake up that day and say, I'm going to let it all hang out, or I'm not going to open up at all. It's not how it works. I think God's given us this situation of shidduchim to not just be able to express ourselves and give over all this information to someone, other human being. I think he's giving it for our own purposes, for our own selves, so we can get to know each other better, so we can get to know ourselves better. And that is just so much of the truth. It's so significant to make sure you don't limit yourself with your conversation. So there are absolutely things to say, and say them. If politics makes you, go for it. If macaroons make you, go for it. Don't hold that back. Don't be complacent with certain topics. But there are, of course, there are areas of the conversation do's and don'ts where you do have to go in with more of a strategic plan. And hopefully it comes out more genuine. I think the fact that you're going to prepare and you're going to go in with a better plan might show just how genuine you are, and say, look, there was some strategy here. I want you to know that there was a little bit of strategy. Oftentimes, as on last episode, as Yona and Yona said best, oftentimes people are looking to be offended on shidduch dates. Let's not go there. Try to really look at the bigger picture and the beauty in what someone's trying to convey and express over to you. With that said, back to Showboat IJ. Did we use them? Oh, no, IJ. So Blair and Serena, thank you so much for coming and being on the podcast.
It was our pleasure.
I mean, this audience loves you. Like Avery. Wow, Avery actually.
I'm not going to compliment. I'll save my compliments.
Oh,
only when he means it.
Exactly. I don't know. You see? Hey, you'll never know. But no, we really do appreciate it. You guys were good. Very good. Very good.
Extremely appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, ladies. Okay, we have Blair and Serena on the Conversations Do's and Don'ts episode. This has been another episode of your favorite shidduch podcast. And now, as I usually leave off, and I think the ladies love, happy face, smiley face, silly face. This is the Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast.
The LMNO Broadcast Network.